In Dragon Ball Super episode 127, we finally get Jiren's long-awaited backstory, and it turns out he's Uchiha Sasuke? This hilarious clip was made by Anime AJ. I'm not going to show the full thing here because he put in a lot of work to it, but I suggest you go check it out on his channel. Link is in the description. He's also a really good Dragon Ball YouTuber, by the way. So, this backstory that we got from Jiren, I've heard a lot of fans, a ton of fans, complaining that it's extremely generic, and we've been waiting for this for a really long time, but it didn't really live up to the hype to a lot of people. Now, I think it could play a more integral role if they went into even more detail about this story, but the problem was they just grazed over it. So they introduced this new villain, this Evil Doer, that killed Jiren's parents and all of his comrades and his master, but they never told us, did Jiren finally get strong enough to beat this guy, or is that what his wish is? Is his wish to somehow get a chance to fight this Evil Doer, to find him or something like that? Or is his wish simply to just resurrect his dead parents and friends? A lot of people have said that the Evil Doer looks something like Goku Black, which is not true. Other people have said it's the Great Priest, which is also not true, because if it was, I'm pretty sure Jiren would have forgotten the Tournament of Power and just bull rushed the Great Priest as soon as the tournament began. I think it's an okay story to start with if they would elaborate on it more and give it more detail in later episodes, but the problem is Dragon Ball Super's ending, and to be honest, this is probably all we're going to get for Jiren. Just a quick explanation as to why all he cares about is strength and his reasoning for solitude. Now, back a couple episodes ago, Jiren said he seeks what is beyond strength. So to me, that means that Jiren probably found the Evil Doer and beat him, and now he's seeking what is next. Strength got him his revenge, and I think now he's kind of lost. So in my opinion, his wish is to resurrect his master and his parents that were killed by this Evil Doer. Now, since the tournament began, since we've seen Jiren fight Goku and Vegeta, since we've seen Jiren increase his power slowly over the course of the tournament, giving Goku and Vegeta a chance to get stronger, a lot of people have thought that maybe Jiren is actually training Goku and Vegeta for a higher goal, to help him go up against the Great Priest or to fight some other villain, and that could have actually been a great story if it was true, if there was more time left for Dragon Ball Super, and it turned out that Jiren was actually just helping Goku and Vegeta increase their power because he actually needed them in order to take on this Evil Doer, which could have been the next arc. They could have added a cherry on top if they showed us that Jiren actually had Ultra Instinct, and the next arc he spent time training Goku on how to use and master it. That would have been a phenomenal extra arc to put after the Tournament of Power. But sadly, since we know the end date, this puts to rest so many theories about these characters and what could happen next. Even if Dragon Ball Super ends with Jiren asking Goku and Vegeta to help him fight this Evil Doer, that still doesn't necessarily mean it's a cliffhanger. It still doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get another series or Dragon Ball Super is going to continue. They could pretty much just make an assumption that Jiren, Goku, and Vegeta beat this guy. But again, as I've stated before in this video, I don't think that we're going to hear anything about this Evil Doer anymore. I think it's pretty much implied that Jiren beat him, and that's why he seeks what's beyond strength, because he doesn't need strength anymore. He accomplished his revenge. Now he wants to know what's next. When they first showed Jiren's master, my first thought that came to my mind was, oh my god, is that Zorama? Is that the Dragon God Zorama that, fans have been wondering about and theorizing about? Turns out no, because like 2 seconds later, they say that the Evil Doer killed him. That was a very disappointing point that they made in this backstory, because if it was the Dragon God Zorama, if the Dragon God Zorama didn't die to this Evil Doer, and he was actually Jiren's master, that would open up a huge realm of possibilities for the show moving forward. But again, the story was a little bit lazy here and didn't give us that, which is really unfortunate, because they've teased us with these things, and then they just simply don't deliver. There is some wishful thinking and hope here that maybe in the final 4 episodes of Dragon Ball Super, they do give us a little bit more detail about Jiren's story. Jiren did basically cut off his God of Destruction, Belmod, and told him to be quiet because I guess Belmod was telling them too much. And all Jiren really cares about is strength. His history doesn't even matter to him anymore. So considering that's the case, I'm guessing we probably won't get any more information about Jiren or his story or his master or this Evil Doer or even his wish. I think at this point they're kind of just leaving us scratching our heads and making assumptions as to what exactly happened with Jiren and what exactly his wish is. But if I were going to put my money on it, his wish is to bring back his parents, and he already defeated the Evil Doer, which is why he's seeking what is beyond strength. It was a little peculiar to me how there's only a few minutes left in the Tournament of Power, and Jiren is basically racing to beat the clock at this point, at least he should be, but everybody stops and takes the time to hear this entire backstory about Jiren, which, I don't know, took 2 minutes or something like that. That was a little bit silly. I think it would have been nicer if they dedicated like an entire episode to Jiren's backstory. And if it was a little bit more unique, a little bit more in depth, it would have been much more satisfying to fans. If you guys watch Naruto, you'll see that they'll spend like 3 episodes on backstory for a single character or a flashback before they get into the fight. And a lot of times this isn't even happening in real time. I guess the issue I had here is that Belmont is telling this story in real time, and there's only like 3 or 4 minutes left in the tournament. And while those Naruto flashback and backstory episodes can get really annoying and repetitive because you can't wait to see the rest of the action, I think here it would have been so appreciated by fans if they just took one episode, halted the fighting, and explained to us truly who this character of Jiren is, where he comes from, who the Evil Doer is, what is his wish, what are his motives, and they just grazed over it here. But if they would have spent that entire episode talking about Jiren's backstory, when they do get back into the fighting, it's going to be so much more satisfying for fans because now you know who this character is, and a lot of people, you may even be rooting for Jiren at that point. But we didn't really get the emotional satisfaction of Jiren's story, a character that's been hyped up for a year before he even got into fighting. And, you know, we were expecting, there's so many theories and everything, we were expecting something much greater than this. And in the end, it was sorely disappointing. Now we know that the next episode is going to be Vegeta's episode. They're going to spend some time there, probably showing some flashbacks of Vegeta with Bulma, with his new baby Bola. And Vegeta may get more backstory and flashback time in the next episode than Jiren just got for his entire character in 127. But because they're going to focus on Vegeta, I doubt they're going to go back into Jiren's story or explain anything else. I think it's really just wishful thinking that we're going to get any more information on Jiren. I'm pretty sure that that's it, fellas. Not to mention, Android 17 just died, and he didn't even get any flashbacks or anything, which is horrible. And what that means is they really just tried to rush Dragon Ball Super's ending. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. They've got us this far. They've built up so many possibilities and stories and possible emotional moments and dramatic moments, but I don't think they're going to give us much of anything. Hopefully with Goku Ultra Instinct vs. Jiren as the finale, we get that build up that I think we deserve at this point for sticking around for so long. We deserve that satisfaction of an incredibly dramatic finale and ending to Dragon Ball Super. But considering they rushed these last episodes so they can get into the movie, I would just say go into it with low expectations. That way you don't get disappointed, and if it is an incredibly dramatic and suspenseful finale with a lot of emotions flowing through, then you'll be really happy and satisfied. Now, I do have a feeling that the ending to Dragon Ball Super, or at least how the Tournament of Power ends, is not going to be generic. I think that they're just putting us in this direction that Goku's going to win with Ultra Instinct. Bam, he wishes everybody back, end of story. But in the end, we're going to get something different. Like Jiren may actually win, or maybe Goku and Jiren knock each other off and Frieza wins. But if Frieza won, that doesn't really leave us with any opportunities because Dragon Ball Super is ending. Unless they ended on the cliffhanger that Frieza wished to gain control of Zeno or both of the Zenos, and then Dragon Ball Super ends. If that happened, then I think it's pretty much safe to say Dragon Ball Super is going to continue with a new arc, but I don't know how in the hell they would beat Frieza-Zeno combo. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, it's Dragon Ball Super, guys. Anything can happen. Android 17 was the first person to hurt Jiren. That pretty much says it all. Let me know what you think about Jiren's backstory backstory. Did you think it was satisfying or were you disappointed? And I'll be talking to you guys later this week with some more Dragon Ball videos.